What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Russia issues new military threat to NATO. Former F-16 pilot says that he would not want to fly any missions over Ukraine right now, arguing that there is no fighting chance. Unbelievable. Florida passes a transgender bathroom bill that you guys gotta hear about. And Putin is angry. Farmers in the Ukraine are using tractors to clear minefields, and U.S. homeowners are holding near record equity even after price declines in the housing market. Well, guys, Ron Yates here. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. And while you guys are at it, go ahead and smash that like button. I really would appreciate that. And yes, I am recovering. I really appreciate that as well. I appreciate your well wishes. I really do. I'm thankful for the community and the family that I feel that we've built over the years. So thank you guys so much for all of your emails, your messages, your get well concerns and so forth. So thank you. But let's go ahead and jump right in. So Russia issues a new military threat to NATO. This affects the United States, President Biden's administration. Russia said on Wednesday that it could retaliate. It could retaliate. It's not saying that it will, but it says Russia said on Wednesday it could retaliate with military measures if NATO uses Finland's territory. Now, this warning from Putin came from Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharowski, who was commenting on a report that the United States military may place troops in Finland's bases. Now, on Monday, Finnish newspaper indicated that Finnish Foreign Affairs Ministry said that discussions on a new defense cooperation agreement between Helsinki and Washington may allow for the construction of new military infrastructure in Finland's soil. So I feel like we're just kind of like dancing in the vicinity of creating a World War III here just by this new activity that's taking place in Finland right now. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but it's getting serious. And a former F-16 fighter pilot says that he would not want to fly missions over the Ukraine right now, arguing that there's no fighting chance. Not a good sign for the Ukraine. I'm hearing multiple different kinds of reports indicating, hey, Ukraine's about to get annihilated. Russia's saying something else. Hey, so Ukraine has repeatedly asked the United States, President Biden's administration, for fourth generation fighter jets like the F-16. But air combat experts have argued that these aircraft would have little battlefield impact. So in other words, even if the United States provided the Ukraine with F-16 fighter jets, wouldn't even make a difference, and all it would do is cost us a crap ton of additional taxpayer dollars. A former F-16 fighter pilot said that the jets do not have a fighting chance given Russia's air defense systems. Now, Ukrainian officials have long pressed their Western military backers to send them modern fighter jets, arguing that Kiev needs the air power boost to best the invading Russian forces. And while some in the West agree, others argue that fighter aircraft like the ones that the Ukraine wants would not stand a chance in the current threat environment. So you guys let me know, have we sent enough money, enough financial resources, ammo, ammunitions, tanks, resources to the Ukraine, or are we not fulfilling our obligation to the Ukraine? Do we need to send additional money? Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think on that. Now, Florida passed just recently a transgender bathroom bill. Now, you guys got to hear this. The Florida legislator passed a bill on Wednesday, making it a crime for transgender people to use public restrooms that align with their gender identity. Now, under this bill, known as the Safety in Private Spaces Act, individuals who use public restrooms or changing facilities that do not correspond with their sex assigned at birth could be charged with a second-degree misdemeanor. The legislation next heads to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' desk, where it is widely expected to receive the governor's signature. Now, what do you guys think about this bill being passed? And let's just assume that Governor Ron DeSantis puts his signature on this particular bill and makes it official. What do you think about transgenders using different bathrooms? I know me personally, if I'm out and about and my wife or my niece went to the bathroom and I'm waiting outside for them to come out and I see some dude walk in there, even if he identifies as a different gender, I'm gonna have a problem with that personally. I'm just saying, maybe I'm overprotective, call it what you want. I'm just, so Putin is angry. Farmers in the Ukraine are using tractors to clear minefields. Last spring, reports circulated online that Ukrainian farmers had employed tractors to literally tow away Russian tanks and other vehicles that were abandoned by their crews near the front lines. Fast forward to today, another Ukrainian farmer isn't using his tractor to steal Russian tanks. Instead, he's taken parts from the damaged, disabled, armored vehicles and essentially modded out his tractor to clear out the minefields. And I don't blame him, because me personally, I wouldn't exactly be, I wouldn't be all that comfortable digging in the ground, farming, trying to grow crops, knowing that, who knows where the next mine might be, and that might end my life right there. So as previously reported, Russian forces have deployed enough landmines and unexploded ordnance to cover upwards of a third of Ukrainian territory. After Russian forces have been driven back in parts of the Ukraine, they left behind fields that are literally filled with a variety of mines and unexploded ordnance. This makes it especially perilous for farmers to sow grain for the next harvest. According to the Wall Street Journal, which cited data from the Ukrainian government, around 30% of the fields, even around Kiev, have or had mines that need to be cleared. So, just think about this. We talked about food shortages, in the past, and Ukraine being the breadbasket of wheat and grain. So imagine we're already dealing with less than optimal supply levels, and farmers, may or may not be all that comfortable plowing, planting, seeding crops. And who could blame them? Their life would be at risk. I would not want to be out there knowing that there are mines that could possibly be blowing up at any moment. So just putting that out there. U.S. homeowners hold near record equity even after price declines. The share of U.S. homes that are equity rich dropped slightly in the first quarter of the year, but remain close to historic highs, according to new data. Some 47% of mortgaged homes were equity rich, meaning that people are not upside down. They're actually holding on to their appreciating real estate asset and increasing their net worth as a result. So some 47% of mortgage homes were equity rich, meaning that the borrower holds at least half the equity in the January-March timeframe, down from 48% from the previous quarter, which is actually still very good. So even in the face of the declines of the housing market, most people are actually very, very house rich as opposed to being house poor, as we saw back in the 2008, 2009, 2010 housing market, Great Recession crisis. It was complete opposite back then. So the drop came as home price declines across much of the country. And after a decade-long boom that gathered pace during the initial years of the pandemic, while housing markets have showed some signs of stabilizing recently, mortgage borrowing costs have doubled since the start of last year, and this will likely continue to curb demand and prices. Well, we're going to have to see. Higher levels of equity help to shield homeowners from foreclosure risks and could also protect the economy from the impact of a more severe housing downturn like we experienced back in the 2008 crash. And so this is one of the reasons why I'm a huge proponent of investing in real estate, tangible assets that you can hold on to. Yes, I do like to invest in stocks and ETFs, as well as, other types of not so tangible assets. But real estate has, as an investment, it's got a tangibility that, is really, it offers peace of mind. Number one, real estate, you know that a house will always have utility. Someone's always going to need a place to live. And so the utility value, as long as the house is in good condition, it can never really go down to zero. Not to mention the land itself has value. And the other thing is that, you've got so many different financing options for purchasing real estate. And most other investments just don't have that ability to gather financing and get easy funding from a bank or from a mortgage company to be able to make a purchase for other types of investments. You can get a conventional loan, FHA loan with FHA loan will probably let you get into a house with as little as 3% down. And if you look at the long term, like from a long-term investing standpoint, over the long term, real estate has gained value in every 10-year interval in history over the last 100 years. And as one wealthy investor has said, I want to say it might have been Warren Buffett, they're not making any more of it. So, Goldman Sachs, they're expecting one last Fed rate hike, but they're warning about high rate hikes for longer periods of time. So Goldman Sachs U.S. economist David Merkel, he expects the Federal Reserve will raise the interest rates by 25 basis points for one last time in May. And well, he was right. So Fed Chair Jerome Powell, representing the Federal Reserve, they have raised interest rates by another 25 basis points. And they're signaling that this may very well be the last rate hike this year. In a note published on Friday, Goldman Sachs anticipated that interest rates would remain unchanged in June, but the Federal Reserve would maintain a hawkish bias. Now, Goldman Sachs currently forecasts 10-year Treasury yields to rise to 3.9% at the end of 2023, and the S&P 500 index, which is tracked by the SPDR's S&P 500 ETF Trust, is expected to decline 3% over the next 12 months. So we'll definitely have to see how the stock market fares on that. And on that note, I want to share with you guys three ETFs, three of the best ETFs to buy for 2023. Now, the first one I want to share with you guys is Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF, ticker symbol VTI. So this particular ETF or exchange traded fund has an expense ratio of 0.03%, and it pays out a dividend of 1.6% right now. And the 5-year average annual return on this ETF is 9.4%. That's not a bad 5-year average return, in spite of the fact that, the stock market in 2022 was tumultuous. So in spite of that massive decline, this ETF is still returning an average annual return of 9.4%. That's almost 10%. So I wanted to share that one with you. Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF, Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF is the keystone ETF for a portfolio of the best ETFs to buy right now. So let's go on to ETF number 2. Let's talk about the Vanguard Dividend Appreciation ETF, ticker symbol VIG. Now, this one's awesome because it's got an expense ratio of only 0.06%. So you're not wasting money paying fees and preventing you from being able to compound your money. Dividend yield is 2.0%, which is great if you're looking to create some form of passive income from your dividend investments, from your stock market portfolios. It's got a 5-year average annual return of 10.2%. So this one's really awesome because not only does it have an average annual return of over 10%, but it's also paying a pretty respectable dividend, helping out with the passive income side of the game. Many diversified U.S. stock funds that outperformed over the last 12 months prioritize offering high income to shareholders. And it looks like VIG is one of them. The last ETF I want to share with you guys is the Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF, ticker symbol VYM. So this one's got an expense ratio of 0.06%, dividend yield paying even higher than the last one of 3.0%, and a 5-year average annual return of 8.1%. So I hope that you guys got some value out of this video. Drop me some comments down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking about. Let me know what topic you thought was most interesting that we talked about. Do your boy a favor, drop a like for the video and subscribe. And if you really, really want to help out the channel, be sure to share this video. Appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to see you on the next one. Be safe.